Okay, but get this. If we can put Blackbeard in high-heeled boots and have him step on you.
Please don't. Hello world, and welcome to Development Heaven. I'm your salty sea dog, Vincent Marinelli.
And I'm your first matey mate, Glenn Cagle.
It's a design podcast where the two of us talk about development hell and all the changes your favorite pieces of media go through. This week, it's pirates, right? Glenn, how do you feel about pirates?
I like pirates. I'm big into pirates. What about you?
I had I don't know, in first grade, I had a pirate-themed birthday party. Where,
oh, that's cool. I think I had one of those too, but I don't remember. I was real young.
What do you do at a pirate-themed birthday party? You give everybody eye patches and...
Yeah, and then the little chocolate doubloons.
Oh, so fun. Give everybody fake hooks, and eventually somebody goes to the hospital for it.
Yeah.
Good times had by all.
I mean, except the guy who lost an eye.
I wonder if anybody did lose an eye. You have any, have you ever pirated anything? That's kind of pirate adjacent, right? We're talking about Disney pirates. But have you ever pirated anything? You can say it on the podcast. Are we talking about
Disney pirates?
Are we?
Are we? I don't know. I pirated Game Maker for a few years. Because it's one of those softwares where if you buy it once, you don't get it forever. Whenever they update, you have to re-download it and pay for it again. And I was like, that's illegal, and so I pirated it. It's not really legal. They have every right to do that, but I hate it. Doesn't make me like it more. And then finally,
this man right here, officer. This man right here.
That's eventually why I broke up with Game Maker.
I have a wire. I'm wearing a wire. You didn't see it because we're not actually in a studio, but I am wearing a wire right now.
Bruh.
Everything you said
Dude,
has been
I bet
recorded.
you have a microphone on you right now.
Listen, Glenn, you can make jokes all you want, but I fucking got you, dude. This is technically blackmail.
Vincent, please. Please. I can't go back. Have you ever pirated anything?
No.
I mean, like a purse or a car or a movie. They're all the same.
I wouldn't download a car. I have stolen a car.
Oh, I certainly would.
Yeah.
I would. I mean, if I could download a car, I would do it instantly.
There aren't any downsides to downloading a car, right? It just means two people get a car for free. I guess one person paid, but the other person doesn't lose the car, you know?
I'm assuming by download a car we mean download the schematic for a car and then print it on a 3D printer.
Okay.
So, I mean the guy who came up with it probably worked really hard and he probably deserves to get paid. We shouldn't be encouraging piracy if we're the victims potentially.
I would still download
creative. Yeah, I would download a car. Never mind. This is stupid.
So pirates, gambling. Who goes first, Glenn? How did you feel about that? Is that a good connection?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. You know the game that they play in Pirates of the Caribbean, Disney Pirates, episode 1?
No. What is it? No.
No, it's not. It's in It's in whichever one they meet. Davy Jones, octopus guy.
That's number 2. That's the squeakle.
Is that number 2?
Yeah.
The squeakle. Okay. Yeah. In that one they played a dice game. And it was a gambling game.
So that's why you gave me this dice.
That's why I gave you that die, yeah. So we can't really play that game, but we're gonna do something very similar where I am going to roll a die, you're gonna roll a die. And I'll say what I rolled, and then I'll guess whether mine is higher or lower than yours, and you tell me. And if I'm right, I go first. If I'm wrong, I don't go first.
I like it. Let's do it.
Okay.
There's not gonna be any bluffing though, because you can't see my face.
That's why I changed it up a little bit.
Okay.
But yes, I will. I'm gonna guess whether mine's higher or lower than yours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm getting ready to roll. Just a single d6.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you rolled? Oh, I hear it. All right, I got a 4. And
I'm not gonna tell you what I got.
I'm gonna say mine was higher.
Yeah, I got a 1.
Nice. So does that mean I'm up first?
That means you get all of my money.
Nice. Wouldn't be the first time.
How does it feel, Glenn? You've dethroned me as the guy that goes first.
I mean, it was bound to happen eventually.
Eventually, right?
A young buck like me was gonna overtake you. You're getting a little creaky, old man. I'm young and spry.
Oh no, my bones. You're older than me.
I am older than you.
by like a
But I
month.
would still consider myself to be young and spry.
Okay.
By a month? When were you born?
October.
You Scorpio? I was born in
No,
August,
no,
so
I am. Can't. No, what am I? Libra.
this is stupid. Let's move on to the actual thing.
All right, you're going first. Glenn, you're up.
Actually, most pirate tales take place in the Americas.
That makes sense.
Because you said Europe. Blackbeard was from North Carolina. I'm pretty sure.
Fuck you. That's a bad.
It's staying in.
Yeah.
All right. I'm talking about. I've been really getting. I haven't done video games in a while. I'm supposed to be like the video game guy, but I don't want to be known as the video game guy. So I've been doing a
Right.
lot of TV and movies lately.
Mm-hmm. It's a branding thing. It's marketing, right? So you're
I
establishing.
set the precedent and then I break that precedent.
Yeah, right. I like it.
Yeah. Me too. That's why I did it. So I'm talking about Disney Pirates, the beloved movie Treasure Planet that flopped for various reasons in theaters.
Yeah.
It had there was an idea to turn it into a franchise, and that got canceled. So we'll hop right into that.
I just watched Treasure Planet 2 days ago.
I just watched it this morning.
Cool. It's good, right?
I like it a lot.
I was impressed because, growing up, I had always seen, we had like VHS copies of Brother Bear or whatever.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
always
totally.
had the coming soon to a theater near you. And then it was a trailer for Treasure Planet. It always looked
totally.
good, but it always looked weird. And I didn't like the aliens or the kid's haircut.
Yeah, it's
But,
kind of bad. He's got a rat tail.
The rat tail. I was watching it and I was really impressed. There's one thing, if I could complain about this movie for a second, the soundtrack is so bad.
Yeah, I have some stuff to talk about that in here. It was okay. Yeah, I can see why you would complain about that. The kid did have a rat tail.
He did have a rat tail.
There's no denying that.
Do you think they were trying to go for like the Anakin Skywalker thing? 'Cause that was the era.
In my research, they were going. Well, it was 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's right. I think they were going. I know they were going for like a James Dean look, but he didn't have a rat tail, as far as I know.
So
Which
they're just
I can totally
bastards.
see when I watch it.
Mm-hmm. So as you've said, all this culminates into an okay watch.
The movie's really good.
Yeah,
The movie's
it's-
really good. It has roses and thorns, just like any movie. So let's hop right into it, shall we?
Let's hop in our solar bikes and fly into
Solar
the segment.
Surfer.
Yeah.
So like I said, released in 2002 by Disney. It was directed by Ron Clemens and John Musker. They originally pitched this idea alongside the pitch for Little Mermaid in 1985. So
Oh wow. Large gap
rewind about 2 decades. They were working on a movie called The Black Cauldron at the time. I don't really know anything about that. Do you?
It sounds familiar. Did it ever come
It was a
out?
Disney animated movie. Yeah, I think it came out. I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, they were like, here's 2 ideas that we have. Treasure Planet, based on Treasure Island, written by Robert Louis Stevenson.
Mm-hmm.
This was, I think, the second time. This would have been the second big time that this movie had been, or this book had been adapted to a sci-fi film.
Oh really?
Yeah. The first time was in 1987. Which, okay, they wouldn't have known about. This is 1985 when they pitched it. But
Right.
by the time it came out in 2002, it was the second one. I guess the Italians beat them to it with their little mini-series, Treasure Island in Outer Space.
Doesn't
Yeah,
sound as good.
Not as catchy name, but that was actually their original title.
Oh, okay. Then
Yeah,
I guess it's a blessing, right?
Yeah, I guess I'm glad they took it.
Mm-hmm. Get it out of the way.
Hey, here's a fun fact. This was the first film to ever be released in both regular and IMAX simultaneously, which is kind of weird.
I wouldn't have chosen this one.
Yeah. Like, what's the point? But it has some action sequences, I guess. Anyway, they pitched it right alongside Little Mermaid in 1985, and Disney, of course, picked Little Mermaid. It fit right in with their whole princess mantra. This is like the getting into the Disney Renaissance when 2D traditional cell animation was getting big, and they
Back in
thought
its
that
heyday.
they thought that another princess would have fit the bill, you know.
Mm.
And they liked basing stuff off of Hans Christian Andersen stuff. Anyway, there's also this other thing like The Great Mouse Detective, which also got picked over Treasure Planet shortly
I remember The Great
thereafter.
Mouse Detective, yeah.
I don't. Eventually they proposed it to a guy named Michael Eisner, who rejected it.
CEO of Disney. CEO of Disney, Michael Eisner, or was this before he was CEO of Disney?
He wasn't the CEO at the time.
Right.
I don't think he was the CEO at the time. This is a while back. And I don't think they were pitching that high, but but anyway, they did pitch it to Michael Eisner, and he rejected it because he knew that at the time Paramount was developing a Star Trek sequel that had like a Treasure Island kind of vibe to it, or Treasure Island influences.
Huh.
So that Treasure Island in space was like a hot commodity in the mid '80s that people were just slurping up.
They just couldn't get enough of it.
And he was like, "There's no room. There's not going to be any room for your little Treasure Planet gig." All right. So turns out Star Trek sequel, Treasure Island Star Trek was never produced.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't sound like anything I've heard of.
So rip that. Repitched 1989, still rejected. They picked Aladdin instead that time. Man, imagine working at a company where there's just so many pitches that you have to like pick and choose. Is that how most animation studios are, or is that just Disney?
I don't know. I mean, realistically, it was probably like,
and the same one can get put on the back burner like for 2 decades,
20 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was probably just that there aren't that many, but they just choose the ones that they felt could be developed. You know, that would make the most money. It is Disney.
That's true. Then this guy named Jeffrey Katzenberg. When they pitched it again, like I said, Disney picked Aladdin instead. They were pitching to a guy named Jeffrey Katzenberg, who said he was, quote, just not interested.
Yeah. He chose to make Ants instead. He became the CEO of DreamWorks and made Ants.
You're kidding. That's nuts.
No. Jeffrey Katz quit Disney to steal the idea for Bug's Life and then made Ants first.
That's hilarious.
That's just some DreamWorks lore for you.
I've never seen Ants.
It's so bad.
I've seen Bug's Life once and I don't remember the plot. Anyway, moving on. Jeffrey Katz is like, "No, I'm just not interested," and he's already scheming to move to DreamWorks. So of course he's not going to take on a big project like Treasure Planet.
Yeah.
So what else do they do but get this? Go to Mr. Roy E. Disney, Walt Disney's nephew.
Yeah.
They go to the Big Roy and the Big Roy boy, and they pitch it to him. They pitching really high now, and
Mr. Roy.
And Mr. Roy boy goes back to Eisner and he tells them to get with it. He tells them make this film.
Sir, we need Sci-Fi Treasure Island. It's what my great uncle would have wanted.
Roy comes down from his ivory tower and lays down the law.
Pulls the silver spoon out of his mouth.
Yeah, he slams the gavel down and says, "We're making Treasure Planet," and they're like, "Yes, sir, on it, sir." And so in 1995, they drafted up a contract that said Ron Clements and John Musker, Disney wanted them to make Hercules. But they're like, "Okay, we're only making Hercules on the condition that you let us make Treasure Planet after." And Disney's like,
"Gotcha, bitch."
Fine. Ugh. They're like pinching their bridge of their nose. So in 1995 they draft up that contract, and so because of that, the animation on it didn't actually begin until 2000. So already 20 years in the making, or just about. So there are a few pros and cons. Well, this one they hadn't even started yet, and this is it's 2000. Yeah. That's when the animation began. Okay, they had the script written, but the animation began in 2000, and there were a couple pros and cons of waiting so long. One of the major pros being that they wanted to have like cool camera work, which is kind of hard to do. A lot of cell animation, like if you watch like any of the Disney Renaissance films, which are done with traditional 2D animation, the camera doesn't really move much. If anything,
Yeah.
it's like a simple pan or zoom.
Mm-hmm.
But most shots are just still with the characters moving, which for obvious reasons that makes the animation a lot easier. But they wanted to have camera work, quote, like Spielberg or James Cameron.
Cool.
Yeah. So the fact that they waited until 2000 gave them access to
They use that Tarzan tech, right?
yeah. Where it was like 3D backgrounds or 3D environments that are like fully realized in every direction, even behind the camera, and then they paste in their little sticker character on that. Scene.
Honestly, I really like the way that stuff looks.
Interesting.
I know
I
that a
was
lot of
just gonna
people-
say that I find it uncomfortable.
You have a thing about that. I don't know. I think it's like, you know.
I don't like-
Who
okay,
Framed
here's
Roger
what-
Rabbit.
I've never seen it. I talked about it in a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Or a couple episodes ago.
It's that
I don't-
same
okay,
effect.
that I don't
appreciate
mind.
it.
I don't mind like the live action thing so much. It's kind of like here's where it gets me is like when you look at his feet on the solar surfer
That's
board,
true.
and it's like
Yeah.
sliding a little bit. Like
I do avoid looking at the feet,
yeah,
which is rare for me.
yeah, it's just a thing that I have. And also, I'm just a sucker for 2D animation. I mean, three color lighting. Ugh. Yeah, forget shading. Get it out of here. I don't want it. Okay, I want you to pick one color, fill bucket,
Right.
and move on.
Listen, Disney can call me when they make a pixel art feature film.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
Folks, please.
Well, it's
We
not so
should
much
call Roy.
pixel
We
art.
should call Roy. Get Roy on the case.
Yeah, Roy's boy. At Roy. It's not even pixel art so much. It's like I don't know, that cell animation where it's like like if you watch the movie, you'll see, or even just a trailer, you'll see that there's no like shading across a single color thing. Like if you look at his hair, it's all the same color brown except for like I mean there's like a hard line wherever it changes from one color to another. And
Yeah.
that I don't know, for some reason that just really gets me. That style. Which is why it kind of pisses me off that they remade Aladdin and whatever else. They
Lion
can't
King?
call they can't call the Lion King live action. Can we get into this?
This is hot on cold, but yeah, we can get into it if we want to.
They cannot call it live action.
Right. So hot take on cold topic.
The
Lion
only
King is an
the only
animated
opinion
movie.
show you can listen to without getting heated.
Agreed. Okay. So for the sake of what is it, Devil's Advocate? There's a single shot in the movie that is live action. I believe it's the first shot with the sunrise.
Jeez.
And in my opinion,
So they filmed
hey,
a real.
Yeah, they went to Africa. Got a sunrise. Done got that sun coming up, and you didn't even notice because the other stuff looks
I didn't even watch
like
the
it's
movie.
live action. I know I don't like it. I'm devil's advocating for a movie that I don't.
I like
enjoy.
Aladdin. I like the new Aladdin. I thought Will Smith did a good job. I don't think he replaces Robin Williams, but I think he did a good job.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
But I definitely prefer the cell animation of the original one.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, we were talking about how they didn't manage to animate this movie until the good old Y2K, turn of the century, turn of the millennium.
Right. They were sure that the movie would be able to exist after Y2K wiped out all known movies.
Well, that's why if they had been forethinking, they would have done it on paper, like pen and paper, but they
Yeah.
didn't.
They just had to have the 3D backgrounds. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
help themselves.
Here's why. Let's talk about why for a little bit. One of the major cons of I talked about the pros of it. They were allowed to use better camera work since they waited so long to make it. That wouldn't have been possible in 1985, but in 2000 it was. Unfortunately, a lot of people or some people say that by 2000 cell animation was dead. Obviously, I disagree, but I think we can all kind of say that the Disney Renaissance was coming to a close at that point.
And Treasure Planet effectively killed it.
Oh yeah.
Drove a stake into that.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. I think it's not necessarily Treasure Planet so much as it was like DreamWorks and DreamWorks had just released Shrek, of course, and I don't know when Ants came out, but probably somewhere around that time.
It was before. It was the first DreamWorks movie.
Okay, yeah. So Ants, they had released Ants, then had released Shrek in 2001 while Treasure Planet was in production.
Yeah.
Disney was putting all of their energy into Monsters Inc., which was in production, and Finding Nemo, which was to come out there shortly thereafter. Toy Story had already come out and had huge success, and Bug's Life. So there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, their Disney Renaissance coming to a close. Disney Pixar picking up steam. The Disney execs aren't really willing to fund Treasure Planet. That being said, Treasure Planet is the most expensive traditionally animated film of all time.
It doesn't surprise me, but yeah, it's unnecessary. It's wholly unnecessary.
$140 million was their budget. Tarzan clocked in at $130 million in 1999, and Atlantis: The Lost Empire clocked in at $120 million in 2001. So yeah, Disney just shelling out that money to those animators.
Those bastards took all Disney's money.
No, they didn't. I don't think they saw that much of it.
I've seen a lot of think pieces and about the death of the Disney Renaissance and people that blame Treasure Planet and all that. Some people attribute
people
it to...
blame the Treasure Planet animators? I find that so hard to believe.
They don't blame the animators so much as they blame Disney's marketing of Treasure Planet. But
okay, yeah.
Also...
That's because they were only making it because they had to make it if they wanted to get Hercules out.
Basically. Another thing that a lot of people blame it on is actually Phil Collins, who made the soundtrack of Tarzan and, lead singer in Genesis. Apparently, a lot of the draw, some people say that a lot of the draw of the movies of the Disney Renaissance is the music. And so by just hiring some pop artist, it made the rest of the movies less interesting. I don't know.
I see what you're saying. Didn't Lion King, like the original one, have
Elton John.
Had Elton John in it, yeah.
Huh. Good point.
I think there were a lot of forces at work here that caused the Disney Renaissance to come to a close.
Yeah.
If you were to ask me, I would say the primary cause was the rise of 3D animation in the competition with DreamWorks. And I don't know, maybe that's just because I like Shrek so much.
Big Shrek guy over here.
A bit Shrek, Over the Hedge, and B Movie.
You know I love Over the Hedge.
Shrek, Over the Hedge, and B Movie were like, okay, so did you have a minivan did your parents have a minivan with a TV in it?
No.
With a DVD player?
No.
Okay, well, we did.
What we did have was a portable DVD player that we kept in our car.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so we would plug in our little headphones.
You probably know the same situation where you get like a disc in there and then somebody takes in the box or something, or gets put in the wrong box. So the same disc stays in there for like a year.
Yeah.
And that's just whenever you turn on the car, it's the car movie. Whenever you're in the car, you're watching that movie and you can't say no.
Yeah.
That's how, at one point it was Shrek 2, Electric Boogaloo. At one point it was the B Movie, and another point it was Over the Hedge. So those movies always stir a lot of nostalgia in me.
Right. For me, it's let me think. The first X-Men, Ice Age.
Nice,
very nice. And honestly, it's probably Over the Hedge.
Dude, Over the Hedge is so good.
It's better than it has any right of being.
That's true. And I think maybe it was just like as a kid, like those movies were like, because a lot of the Disney Renaissance movies are about a princess finding true love, and I know that Disney's trying to kind of like retcon that, or at least rectify that with their newer movies.
But Over the Hedge was about a funny little Steve Carell squirrel.
But well, yeah, they were movies about family for the most part, or self-confidence. I would say Shrek is about self-confidence and stuff like that.
I could take it that way, sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because like at the end of Shrek 1, it's like about Fiona realizing that
that's true. Shrek 1 does.
It doesn't matter what other people think about you.
It gets lost behind like the weird 2001 pop culture references to like The Matrix.
Yeah.
And the bad soundtrack, but I guess it does. Dude, actually.
It Don't you ever say that about the Shrek soundtrack. It also, I mean, also the memes have kind of drowned it, but Shrek is a good movie. I mean, the later ones, I could take or leave, but Shrek 1 and 2, I mean, they're gold.
Agreed.
Okay, so let's talk about in the book of Treasure Planet, the main character, Jim Hawkins, is much younger. He's like a child.
Right.
And so, like, this
Literal,
is like a coming of age novel.
actual child.
Yeah. This, it's a coming of age novel. And I would say to an extent, Treasure Planet is a coming of age movie, but in a much different way. In the book, he's already very capable and handy at the Admiral Bimbo Inn, where he works with his mom. But in the movie, they originally wanted to kind of stay true to that. They had this scene where that they animated most of. You can actually watch it if you have Disney Plus, where he was fixing his solar surfer, and a little alien kid comes up and tells him about his scooter, his rocket-powered scooter or whatever, and Jim goes to fix it with him. And it's like this like heartfelt interaction between him and the younger alien child. But they ditched all that. They ditched all that. In the movie, as it was released in theaters, he is just a teen delinquent.
He's a punk.
And some people, yeah, he's a punk. He gets arrested in the first scene. So I don't know. Some people say that kind of detracts from the story because they like the idea of the young kid, sort of, I don't know, making his way in the universe. But I know that you're a big fan of the hero's journey, and I think the way they did it, the way that it was actually released, fits the hero's journey a lot better. Right, where he starts out and he changes for the better. Dude, this movie has there's something for everybody here. This movie has
cyborgs.
It has cyborgs. It has femdom tabaxi captains and thigh highs.
Stop. That's the only thing. I watched this with my little sister. It's
you really can't ask for more.
I know.
Eventually they decided that it would be better to start the film off with like a scene of him solar surfing, like an action sequence. And so they had to cut all that stuff with his broken solar surfer that he was fixing, and all the heartfelt children interaction. That was also where they were going to introduce like him not having a dad, because they were going to have like the little kid's dad come up and help him with the scooter, and then be like, "Oh, we got it, thank you." And like,
he's like, "Why can't I have that?"
Yeah, exactly. And then he's like 15. But they cut all that, and they just like said it later, like, you know, the classic movie saying "tell, don't show."
Right.
Yeah. But the solar surfing,
you know, he's having been a difficult time since his father went missing mysteriously.
That's exactly how it is. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, in the original scene, like the scene where the police bring him to the front door, where his mom's like, he's really on the upswing, and then the police knock on the door, and they've got Jim, and it's like, haha,
a classic bit. Yeah,
classic bit. That was in the original cut too, but it was like but the narrator, it had older, like, adult Jim narrating all that, and he's like, and then I turned 15, and it's got him like arrested. I was like, jeez. What is this? I'm glad they went with what they did. I think it was fun. When they were producing the movie, they went with this sort of 70-30 law, which they coined. I think it was this movie where they came up with it. But basically, everything is 70% traditional and 30% sci-fi. So the weird. Ships, yeah. So the ships, they didn't want it to look like sci-fi. Right, that was the main thing. But so the ships are Spanish galleons or whatever they're called, schooners. I don't know. They look like ships, and they have sails and everything. But then there's only a few beep boops on the ship. They still steer it with a wheel. The captain still wears like a naval uniform.
It's helmed by weird crab pirates, though.
There are weird crab pirates, yes. But they specifically didn't want them to wear spacesuits because that looks bad. And they wanted them to like just roam around on the deck like a regular ship. So they came up with this idea, instead of in space. They still call it space, but they're in this thing called the Ethereum, which is sort of like just a giant atmosphere. Like space is just full of gas, full of breathable air.
Yeah.
And so that's how come they're able to just stay on deck.
There's a theory in Star Wars that it's the same way.
Yeah. In terms of style, they went with a lot of like classic storybook illustrations. They want it to look like paint strokes and have like nice warm colors, which, you know, makes sense. It's Treasure Island was a storybook. You were talking about like the music. They took the 70/30 law and they slapped that right on the music too. So they've got this like orchestral like theme, and then they put like an electric guitar over it.
See, I usually like stuff like that. It's the licensed stuff that they got.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean,
it was totally forgettable to me, and I watched it this morning.
There's what is it? It's the scene with Long John
montage?
Silver. Yeah, the montage with
yeah.
Long John Silver and Jimbo, and man, it's just set to the worst possible music they could have gotten.
Make me a man. Yeah.
Oh, stop.
Yeah. It's like hey, this is a coming of age film. Did you notice? It's about him turning into a man?
He's turning into a man in 2002.
Did you notice? He's got a rat tail. Yeah, you're right. It was a bad selection. I don't know. But the rest of the sound design, like other than the music, like the SFX, was pretty cool. They went to like old like antique stores and bought wind-up toys and little spinning mechanisms and things like that to use for mostly for Long John Silver's arm. His
that's so cool.
Yeah, so like the sound design, I mean, I think that's really cool that they used that kind of Foley.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the cool analogs. When he says "Beware the cyborg," at the beginning, Billy Bones comes to him and he's like, "Oh, beware the cyborg." I was like, what could that have possibly been in the original one? So I looked it up. It was the one-legged man.
Right.
And I thought, and that was like, I had like a stroke of inspiration when I saw that. And I was like, because whenever we think, okay, so close your eyes.
They're closed.
Picture a pirate.
Mm-hmm.
He's got all the pirate things. He's got an eye patch.
Yep.
He's got a hook hand. He's got a peg leg, a tricorner hat, and a parrot.
He looks like Tim Curry in Treasure Island.
Yeah, exactly. He's got all the things.
Yeah.
Those all came from Treasure Island. That's not really
really?
Yeah, that's not what people looked like. So in Treasure Island, saying like Billy Bones being like, "Oh, beware the one-legged man," would have been like
the first instance of a pirate with a.
It would have been the first time,
at
like,
least.
Yeah, and a one-legged man would have been a good enough distinction.
Right.
Whereas,
okay.
we think of like, if you said one-legged man, it'd be like, oh yeah, that's just what pirates look like.
Yeah, reach your hand into a bag of pirates, you're more than likely to pull out a one-legged one.
Dude, being a pirate was not at all what we think of.
No, it's not fun.
It was really gross.
It's not fun like Disney Pirates is.
No, it was really gross. They didn't really, like when we think of pirates, we think of like that big like naval coat and the tricorner hat and they're like searching for treasure. But that's not even close. Like these guys were sea hobos.
Just real bastards.
I mean, they were just people that lived on a boat and they had to steal to eat. They didn't go looking for treasure. They raided ships for their food because they were starving.
Yeah, it's not the life for me. I'll say that.
Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, really interesting that it's so romanticized, like sea hobos. Yeah. Do we want to talk about the other analogs? Morph is like is a parrot.
Yeah.
if you didn't
I don't
get
think
that.
I don't think that's. Oh boy, good old Morph. I wonder how many plushies of Morph were made.
Dude, I loved Morph when
Morph is good.
I saw this movie when I was real little, and Morph was like one of my favorite little pet types of all time.
It's cool. It's a cool thing.
One thing I hate about it, he is a morph. That's what they're called. This guy named his dog.
Yeah.
We were talking about why this movie failed. Some other reasons, because it was released against Harry Potter 2. I mean, that was.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, it was released around Christmas time. Harry Potter 2.
And Christmas isn't referenced
Harry Potter
once in Treasure Planet.
Not a single time. At least they had the common decency to have a Christmas scene in Harry Potter.
Yeah, seriously.
Harry Potter 1, such a big success. I don't know how. Some people say that Disney intentionally killed it by releasing it against Harry Potter 2.
I've heard that. Yeah, like they didn't market it.
It did
at
flop.
All.
Oh yeah. The oh gosh, the trailer. Have you watched it?
I haven't watched it. Not in a while.
It's a bad trailer. It has no words.
Huh. Okay.
It's all just like 1 second clips of action sequences. I kid you not. It's like smash cut, smash cut, smash cut of him like on his Solar Surfer, ships blowing up, stuff like that. It's a bad trailer. I would not have seen that movie if I had seen that trailer. I've seen other cool trailers.
Oh,
Anyway,
buddy, so have I.
Jeez.
Dumb.
All right. They were gonna have a sequel, but that got canceled because the thing actually lost money. Like I said, it cost 140 million to make, and it made like 110 million, I think.
Right.
So Disney lost money on it. That put the cork in that Disney Renaissance and right back on the shelf. They did want to turn it into a franchise. They made a couple of video games. One of those video games was like a naval RTS that was released for
What?
PC. Yeah,
Okay, I can sort of see that, but
it's just not the where I would have gone with it. They mentioned like him going to the academy afterward, and I think that's where they wanted to like go with this. That was going to be the plot of the sequel. He was going to meet this chick named Kate at the academy, and they were going to, have a thing. That thing being sex, and then they were going to have to team up again with your boy Long John Silver and defeat William Dafoe as Ironbeard.
Ironbeard, that's
And
powerful.
Yeah, Ironbeard's plot is to free the
Okay.
Guantanamo Bay
Yeah.
inmates, like all their like most wanted criminals, and they have to like stop him.
I would be it
Sounds
would
like
be
a good
remiss if I didn't mention the fact that you pronounce his name William Defoe when it's in fact Willem. So
Are you serious?
yeah, Willem. Sorry, dude.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, they had started like writing the script and stuff for it, but I mean, that's the first one lost a bunch of money, so Disney said no.
I fucking love Willem Dafoe, dude. Put him in more movies.
As Ironbeard, please
Yeah.
have him free some Guantanamo
Bring back
Bay inmates.
Ironbeard.
Dude. They also released like an action platformer for PS1 and 2, I think, and then another one for Game Boy Advanced. I can imagine none of them did great. Get this though. This is what I really wanted to talk about. They released a series of 3 games for PC that were all part of like kind of the same like shared universe. I mean, obviously, but like
Right.
part of the same like shared story. And if you bought all 3 of them, you unlocked the 4th.
Huh.
I don't know what that means. Like, do they now give you the permission to buy the 4th one, or does it like just magically appear on your hard drive?
It's like a pirate's map.
Yeah, dude, your own little Sith Wayfinder to the 4th game.
Nice. Yeah,
Oh,
it's an
no.
ARG where they've hidden it somewhere in real life and you have to go find it.
It's like it's a dead drop.
Yeah.
It's a geocaching dead drop.
I would like that, yeah.
jeez. If you take the binary code of each of the games and you find the corresponding RGB color, and then you find that color on Google Maps, you'll find the coordinates of the dead drop.
The Cyan spot.
That's me.
Well, Glenn, if you'd believe it, I'm also doing pirates. And
No way.
also a video game because I can't seem to get away from
Can't
it.
fathom anything but a video game.
It's Glenn, this is my life, man. This is my livelihood you're
Usually it's the
talking
other way
about.
around.
Yeah, that's true.
So what you got, Vince? Hit me.
It was a game, a canceled game that was going to be titled Project Dreams. Actually, wait, it was
Classic.
Project Dream
Wait,
singular.
I don't think of pirates when I think Project Dream.
I agree. It's a weird naming convention. But it was a placeholder name, I have to assume. That otherwise they wouldn't call it Project Blank. It was developed by Rare Software, sort of the, kings
Okay.
of 90s video games. And so the story of Project Dream starts with the video game Banjo Tooie. It's the sequel to Banjo Kazooie. And in Banjo Tooie, there's a tavern area where you meet like a pirate character, and his name is Captain Black Eye. And
Okay.
he's like drunk and he's mumbling, and you talk to him, and he says stuff about how there was this bear, the bear that looks a lot like Banjo, the main character, and this bear stole his glory once, and he wants revenge. And at one point he says, "I had a dream once," which is a segue because he was going to be the antagonist of this game, Project Dream. Oh, I meant to ask you, have you ever played the Banjo Kazooie games? Like either of them?
No, I never really had a Nintendo console.
That's right. You aren't.
I had a Wii, but we had like minimal games for it.
Right. I've only played them on emulators, but I've never played either of them all the way through because like they're collectathon games, right? And collectathons aren't really my thing.
They get boring.
Yeah, I don't know. Donkey Kong 64 is also collectathon, and that's in my favorite.
Well, speaking of. Yeah, and that one was like hard for you.
Yeah, it's my favorite video game series, and it's like the worst collectathon that's been made. Oh, that's controversial. I shouldn't say that. Anyway, Project Dream was a fantasy RPG developed by Rare, and they wanted to release it on the SNES, so it's like mid-90s era. It was going to look like Donkey Kong. You know how the Donkey Kong games look, where it's like that really high-end 2D, where it looks like it's a 3D model?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were using that same technology.
It's got good lighting.
Yeah. I think it was a 3D model. I think that's how you do it, is you make like the Donkey Kong and the Diddy Kong were 3D models, and then it was just
and you crush them down. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Revolutionary. Anyway, so Project Dream was going to have that as well. It was going to be like an isometric perspective, sort of like the Super Mario RPG, where it's from that like top-down kind of angle, and it was helmed by the team that had made Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest, which is my favorite one in the series. So, what could have gone wrong, right? Nothing. All the pieces were in place.
Nice. What did go wrong?
It took too long. That was the main thing. They just kind of took too long. Rare was like making a lot of games, and so, they couldn't not everything ended up being a winner, I guess. Anyway, I would have liked to play it. There are 3 distinct versions of the game that the project like went through during its development cycle. So the first one, the one that you'll find in like most wikis, is about a little boy named Edson who gets in trouble with some pirates. So boom, there's a connection. Nice. It's RPG. You play as Edson. Story is about like running from the pirates. You're like partnered with your girlfriend. It's all supposed to be like super inspired by fairy tales. So I don't know. Okay. Peter Pan, I guess, is the fairy tale, I assume.
I guess.
At some point, it goes through a pretty serious change where Rare games have a lot of character, and so they added a lot more personality to it, where the characters, there's less fairy tale stuff, and it becomes a lot more piratey.
Okay. Sure.
So Edson gets like a pet parrot, and the story is no longer about like this fairy tale, your girlfriend or anything. It's like a game where you're like racing some pirates to a treasure, basically. This is where they introduced that Captain Black Eye character from before, like I was talking about. He was like going to be the antagonist, and you do piratey things, and it probably would have been super fun, but for whatever reason, I want to say technical issues, at some point they stop making it an RPG and they just turn it into an action platformer. Like 2D.
I can kind of see that.
I think,
and like I'm looking at some screenshots right now, and it's like there's some scenes where it's like the isometric you're talking about, and there's other ones that are like clearly platforming.
Yeah, realistically, it's probably because they wanted to use the same engine as Donkey Kong.
That makes sense. But
at this point, Edson is out. Why'd they call him Edson? That's such a weird name. I'm looking at it because I've been saying this so much. It's like Edson. That's not a name, is it?
No, I don't think so. Put an I in there. Call him Edison.
Just call him Edison.
I don't know. He's Ed's son, dude.
That's probably true. You're right about that.
That'd be hilarious if he was canonically the son of a guy named Ed that they thought of first, and they're like, and then he was just called Ed's son.
I mean, that's
and then eventually they just ditched the idea of Ed.
Rare games like Conkers or Banjo Kazooie have that sort of like humor to them, so that wouldn't honestly surprise me. So anyway, Edson's out. They try to replace him with like a rabbit character, and then eventually they go with a character that's like a bear named Banjo, platforming through this wacky pirate world. But like I said, took too long, and they no longer want to make it a SNES game because nobody's buying SNES games anymore. So they end up transitioning this to a 3D game on the N64 that becomes Banjo Kazooie.
I see.
And so
Banjo Kazooie did pretty well, right?
Oh, Banjo Kazooie is a cultural touchstone. It did amazingly
I've never played
well. I would attribute the success of collectathon games because I want to say most 3D platformers for a while were basically just collect things. Yeah, get to the end of the level, collect things.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
And I think a big part of that is because of the formula that Rare created with Banjo Kazooie. I was learning that Banjo Kazooie was originally going to be a pirate game actually makes a lot of sense to me, and it like closes some gaps in my mind that have always bugged me because, like I said, not a big collectathon guy. For me, it's not super engaging, but it can be. But the instances.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah,
the games that they're in, a lot of times doesn't even make sense. Like it's kind of arbitrary that you're playing as a Banjo. This bear needs to collect whatever for whatever. Or the
like
Donkey Kong characters need to get the fruits. I don't know. It's always been weird to me.
They're hungry monkeys, dude. Can't blame them for that.
Well, they like in the Donkey Kong games, you collect bananas and all that, so it makes sense. But then when you have all these different characters and you can only collect certain things with certain characters, it just seems like way too convoluted to me.
Yeah, making it a pirate thing makes a lot more sense because then it's like plunder.
Yeah, that's what they do. They collect things,
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where
literally the definition.
Yeah, that's where that's where that connection was made for me. The other thing that I thought was interesting is that in a lot of these versions of the game, the character Edson has a pet parrot. And so a lot of the gameplay of Banjo Kazooie is you're this bear with a bird in your backpack. The bird is Kazooie.
Yeah.
And you use Kazooie to platform where you're she hops out and she flies or whatever. I guarantee that was, it's speculation, but I would bet that originated with the parrot mechanic in Project Dream.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. As you probably know, I had this book called The Game Maker's Companion, and in it there was it had tutorials on how to make certain games just for funsies.
Yeah.
And one of them was sort of like a pirate themed platformer game, and they had the whole same sort of shtick where you had a parrot that would help you, it would distract enemies because you didn't have a weapon.
Okay.
So it would distract enemies so you could get by them or push them off of a ledge or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think I think it was really cool.
So that's actually what I wanted to talk about next. I wanted to bring back a segment we did last week where we helped design this game.
Oh, nice.
You made a good point where, like last time I did it was like a Jumanji thing, but we aren't actually making the game. It's more of a pitch, We're pitching a game that will never come out.
If I remember correctly, you asked me, you're like, we're going to make the game. And the first thing that I thought of was, well, do we have all the assets?
Yeah.
Because to me, making the game is acquiring the assets. The coming up with the idea and all that is not nearly as time intensive as, art and stuff like that.
So instead of making the game, let's say we're video game consultants.
We're pitching the game.
Yeah,
there you go.
Let's go back in time.
Video game doctors, if you will.
Let's go back in time to the 90s to Rare CEOs as time traveler.
I got my time machine right here. You ready,
time
Vincent?
traveling gamer consultants, and let's make sure that they release the game that we want them to make. No more of this Banjo bullshit.
None of that.
We want pirate games. It's a pirate week.
It's a pirate. It's a pirate world, Vincent.
It's a
This
pirate
world was
world
made
out
for
there.
pirates. Okay, take my hand.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Now I'm holding my time machine clicker in my hand. When I click it, we're gonna go back.
Is it like the
into
remote from the Adam
year.
Sandler movie? Click.
I've never seen that, but yes. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Ready, Vincent?
Yes.
Where were we? 3, 2, 1, click.
Whoa!
Oh no, we went back too far. We're in real pirates now.
Oh.
Vincent, there's real pirates. We went back too far.
You know how like the team that made the Lion King went to Africa to like get inspiration for the Lion King? Let's use this as like an opportunity, you know? Let's get some inspiration.
Oh,
here.
okay.
So let's take a pit stop. That was actually something I want to talk about with you. Like pirate, what's the word? Like archetypes, you know? So something that Banjo Kazooie games do really well is, even though I think the gameplay is a little dry, the level design is really good, where you go to these distinct worlds and they all have like a very like all very unique feel to them. So it gives everything a lot of character, you know?
Yeah.
I think for a pirate collectathon, so let's get the basics out of the way. I want this to be like a 3D platformer similar to Banjo Kazooie collectathon, but
Banjo Kazooie's not out yet. We can't use that in our pitch.
Can't use that as a metaphor, right? So like in a 3D platforming pirate collectathon game, I think part of the draw could be having different pirate worlds based on like the different archetypes of pirate there are, you know what I mean? So there's your Disney kind. There's like colorful Peter Pan pirates,
dashing.
Yeah, but also there could be like really gross grimy pirates, you know? There's like you know, I'm into this, you
like,
know, this
sea hobos.
Sea hobo world. You know, there's like this new trend in like pirate fashion where you're wearing like Jimmy Buffett clothes and stuff. So like a Margaritaville world would be fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we could have one that's based around the Femdom Tabaxi captain with thigh highs from Treasure Planet.
Well, not that, but we could probably license a Treasure Planet like level. That'd be fun. It doesn't exist yet, but we can
steampunk type.
Yeah,
level.
that would be cool. So for me, I think that's what I want out of like a game like that, is the worlds and the characters. The other thing I was thinking, gameplay wise, would be, you know, how you would use the parrot as a tool for platforming.
Yeah.
Like being able to select other types of animals, like companions, that would
like
help
a monkey?
you. Like a monkey for like climbing on bars or whatever, climbing on the ceiling.
I like that.
I would. There aren't that many.
Kind of like in the Lego games, like that's how you like certain characters can unlock certain things.
Yeah,
so it's like,
totally.
It depends on your pet.
Yeah.
I like that.
And so you would like choose whatever for each, like choose a pet for each level. There aren't that many options for pets. I was thinking maybe like a snake.
And you come back and play them with different pets.
Like a snake that would act as a grappling hook.
Maybe like what's the one, the chameleon that can hide?
Okay, like camouflage.
Yeah, like you can camouflage yourself and let the enemy walk past you, and then you know, stuff like that. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like animals that have distinctive powers.
Yeah. You know how like a lot of games with collectibles have like a super rare legendary one that could be like, you know, an alien or something. You would have like an alien on your shoulder that has psychic powers.
Yeah, you can control enemies or put them to sleep or something.
Yeah, this pitch is coming along. Do you have any ideas for things that you need in like a pirate game?
Yeah. Are we gonna have like swashbuckling, like sword fighting? Is that something we're leaning into, or something we're gonna avoid?
Let me think. So Banjo Kazooie does have like your punching and your kicking and stuff. So I think if that's sword stuff, I think that would be what you'd want to do for that.
Okay. So different enemies should definitely have different like patterns, and you learn the patterns, and you know.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You
What
got a
about
musket.
ships? Should we do something with the ships?
We're like, I think there should definitely be levels on ships.
Right. Or maybe it's one of those
Um,
things where you travel between levels on a ship.
okay, okay. So like your home base, like in the Lego games, is like the
Yeah.
ship, and that's where do the level. You do like the level select on the map or something,
Yeah.
and
And
then
then
it
you could
takes
like
you from port to port.
there could be mini games surrounding, stuff that
Yeah,
happens on the
yeah.
water. Yeah.
Like maybe a fishing mini game, and you like, I don't
I
know.
love a fishing mini game.
People like fishing mini games, dude.
Yeah.
Like maybe like you can once you get like uh oh, like one of the things you could find could be like, the level 2 reel and the level 2 rod and the level 2 line, and you put them
Yeah.
together. Now you get the level 2 fishing pole, and you can catch like that level of fish.
Oh, that's
And
rad.
then like in
Yeah,
the next
okay.
level you can collect all the parts for the next fishing pole, and and collect the next fish.
All right, I'm into that a lot. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
So like,
That's taking a turn for sure, but I think it's kind of fun.
well, not to be all elitist, but if your game doesn't have a fishing mini game, it's like, can you even consider it a video game? You know what I mean? Because
I kind of know what you mean, yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't. What are we gonna do with all these fish, Vincent? Now we've caught all these fish. They're just stacked up on the deck. They stink, dude. What are you
What
gonna
if-
do with them? Are we? Were you planning on cooking them, or like put at least like in Animal Crossing they put them in an aquarium,
Maybe the fish can be like currency.
bruh?
Yeah,
I
you
think a
sell
museum
fish.
would be cool. I think that's the best way to do it.
Ooh, okay. Or you have
Maybe
like an
not. Maybe not like
onboard
a
fish
museum, or
tank.
you like mount them.
You should have like a large
Ooh,
fish
oh.
tank, and then you can like see
Like
all the fish
like
in
below
there.
deck. There's just like an area.
Yeah,
it's like-
totally.
okay, yeah.
And that's also like a mini game where you can like feed them or whatever.
Yeah,
this game
you can tap
rules.
the glass. You can tap the glass and they like freak out.
Yeah, okay. Here's the thing.
Okay.
I got this from another games podcast. Here's what we should do.
What should we do?
Just to make sure that all the loose ends are tied up, let's just like count to 3, and on 3 list one mechanic or a feature that the game should have that we think the game would be naked without, that whatever you want to add to the game, and we'll try to combine our two ideas together and really sell this pitch. All right.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Rhythm
Furry
game.
Blackbeard.
Is that a feature? So what we have is rhythm game and furry Blackbeard.
Okay.
So what do we do with that?
The fishing minigame could be a rhythm game. That's stupid. That's
No, the fishing minigame's perfect. Leave that. That's
leave that alone.
Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's
How about this?
perfect.
one of the characters or one of the animals that you bring along with you could be like, I don't know, like what's a musical animal? What's an animal that might bang on a drum?
Monkey. They got the little cymbals.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Maybe there's like an animal that you bring. One of your pets is like a rhythm guy, and that's how you like solve some of the things. That's how you defeat Blackbeard. That's how you defeat furry Blackbeard.
Furry Blackbeard. I want to hear more about that, but I wanted to like something that when I was thinking about this got me interested was like a rhythm game, because rhythm games are so hot right now.
Are they?
No. So
Okay.
but it's the 90s, so we're
Everything's hot
kind of getting
right
out
now.
in front of the craze. So what about like rhythm game, but it's based on drunken sea shanties,
Ooh,
So
now that's
the
spicy.
difficulty scales with the amount of alcohol consumed,
Okay, so like one of the collectibles is kegs of ale,
obviously.
and that gives you a new level on the drunken sea shanties on the ship.
And then it's like a high score based game that you can
Yeah.
show off to your friends. Like, yeah, that's right, I got A on Drunken Sailor.
And you can like win at different pubs and you like get an award. Then you can like have
Yeah,
your
okay.
awards lined up on the wall.
That's fun. I
That's
like that a
good.
lot. So what do we do with furry Blackbeard?
He's at one of the pubs having a good time.
Is he the games master? Is he like the MC of the
Yeah,
master
yeah. But
ceremonies
you've got to
of
go
the
in there.
drunken
You've got to,
sea
but you
shanties?
can't go into that pub until you have a fursuit. And it's a Banjo Kazooie fursuit. It's one of the collectibles.
Glenn, if you talk about, listen, I can't back you up on this because if you talk about furry stuff, you will be associated with that forever.
Okay. Backpedaling.
Yeah.
With that in mind, Vor Blackbeard.
Come
Because
on.
I'm infinitely more okay with being the Vor guy than with being the furry guy.
So what do we do with? What about what I was thinking? I really don't want to go along with you on this fourth thing, but one of the levels could be a classic.
Inside a
you get
whale?
eaten by a whale. Yeah.
Oh yes. And you're like banging on the whale's teeth.
Sure. It's perfect.
It's like a xylophone. Oh, that's so... Whales don't have teeth. They have baleen.
Some whales have teeth.
Well,
not the big ones.
Vincent, I don't think we can hold our credibility as game designers.
Glenn, we're in the 90s right now. It's fine.
Oh, anything goes. Anything goes.
Everything
we're technically.
goes in the 90s.
I mean, we're technically still in the 1890s, but or 1790s.
We're tied up on a ship right now.
Just talking about our game.
Yeah.
It's a pirate's life for me, Vincent. That's all I have to say on this. Okay, can you reach the clicker? Because I can't.
Hold on, it's in my back pocket. You have to reach
Oh
in
shoot,
there.
dude, we're stuck. All right, Vincent, I think I got it. Oh wait, that's not the clicker.
Boo. All right, let's wrap it up. That's all, folks. So with that energy in mind, folks, it's been a good run. But I can no longer work with this man. I'm cutting off all professional ties to you, Glenn Cagle.
Without you, I'm nothing. Vincent, I need you. Vincent,
You're
I'm
my
begging
second
you.
half to our time-traveling gamer consultants.
Vincent, I'm begging you. You're my better half.
Okay, let me...
I'm only living half my career right now.
Right. Without this podcast. Okay.
Without my 15 subscribers.
Well, folks, that's the show. So if you want to reach us, our email is developmentheaven@gmail.com. Send us your emails, send us questions or episode ideas.
Also, if you like the show, let us know. You can tweet at us at devhevpod. You can also join our Discord. We'll add a link to that in the description. And in the Discord, you'll find a whole bunch of links that you can, bug your friends with. Just send them unsolicited links, please.
Just really make them regret being friends with you. Listen, Glenn, I want to thank you for the intro music. The song is called Bird. It's on SoundCloud. It's linked in the description.
Also linked are Matthew Inney and Natalie Quick. Matthew did some of our various logos, and Natalie did some great work on our cover. So thank you to them, and thank you to you for listening.
Speaking of our audience, if you want to leave a review in your podcatcher streaming service, we're on Apple and Spotify and all of them. It does help. We have a review here that I wanted to read that I really enjoyed. By the way, if you do leave a review, maybe 5 stars. Just saying. We have a 5-star review here.
If you talk about it, if you leave a text review, then we'll read it on the show.
So listen, this one here is from
That's a promise.
Tim Curry fan. Which I love. Finding a kindred soul like this is always good to see. He leaves a 5-star review that says, "Good voices." So thank you, Tim Curry fan. If you want something to be said on the podcast, leave a review. And thank you. That's a good game pitch. We have on our hands here. I think we could make some serious money with this.
Because that's what it's about. At the end of the day, folks, remember, it's not about artistic value. It's not about any of that. It's about money. And if you keep that in your heart, then you'll always succeed.
All right, stay tuned for the next episode of Glenn and Vincent Gamer Consultants, time-traveling gamer consultants.